Welcome, at last, to Heavyweight Yoga's first live stream broadcast. Thanks for hanging in and joining us a little late. It's Abby Unplugged, and I'm Abby. So it's just me on the mat to answer your questions. I hope you'll tap in and let Ron know what you want to know about. I started teaching yoga in 2004, became a yoga teacher at Kripalu. I've been practicing yoga for over 43 years after my first child was born. Hi, Nate. Hi, Mary Beth. Going to include both. And I found yoga at the YMCA. It changed my life. And after 43 years, it's still the invisible net that catches me wherever I go. I'm here to answer your questions, to help you make your yoga practice the very best and the very efficient yoga practice. So you're moving your body and not wasting your time. I started heavyweight yoga because as I was training at Kripalu to become a teacher, I kept finding that I needed to make adjustments, modifications, to really get the benefit of the pose. So when I came back from Kripalu and began teaching, it became my goal to be able to teach people who had bodies like mine. So that's my goal and has been my goal for these past 11 years. And I'm so glad that you're here with me tonight. So as I take a look at questions that are coming in, I'll start with a question that came through email from Sharon. She wants to know if I have any suggestions for staying motivated during those times when you just don't want to work out. She's had several injuries, and it's been so hard for her to get back in the habit. And that's the thing about habits, isn't it? It's amazing how good habits seem to be so hard to come by, and bad habits seem to just slide in so easily. In fact, effortlessly. And that's the key to establishing your good habits. Try to make them as effortless as possible. So what that means is take those things that you love. Let's start with that. Do the poses. If you love triangle pose, which Sharon does and asked about for a little later, if you do those things that you really love, you'll be more likely to do them. If you do things that are easy to do, you'll be more likely to do them. And so one of the first things that you can do to establish your yoga practice is deep belly breathing. Dirga Pranayam, the deep belly breath. We're breathing anyway, so why not make it work for you? Why not go ahead and establish your yoga practice just simply by breathing when you're watching TV or in the car driving? It can be very difficult if you're thinking, I've got to establish a yoga practice, and in order to do that, I need to have an hour. I need to have this block of time each and every day. No, you just need to build to that hour. Sprinkle the yoga, sprinkle your habit, establish a habit of health, doing little healthy components, and then creating more time when you really do have the time, when it's not competing for work and family and friends and other things that are more fun and easier to do. The deep belly breath, however, looks something like this. We're going to breathe in and out through our nose. Soften your diaphragm. Let the bottom of the lung pooch out. Middle of the lung reaches sideways for the rib cage, top of the lung reaching up for the collarbone. And on the exhale, control your release from top, middle, bottom as you pull the belly button back with that gentle squeeze. Now don't hold the breath there. Let the breath flow out and in. It's like a wave coming into shore and then leaving the shore, making room for the next wave. Here we're expanding our lung capacity, improving cardiovascular exchange. Each beat of your heart is going to become more efficient just by taking this deep breath. I like to think of the deep belly breath as a pair of pictures. Your lungs filling on the inhale, fill bottom, middle, top. But when you pour from the pitcher into the glass, the pitcher empties from top, middle, bottom. Expanding our lung capacity, improving cardiovascular exchange. I can't say it often enough. Making the heart more efficient. It's a great way to start your practice. Now, if you feel stinging when you're taking these deep belly breaths, know that your lungs have millions of little air sacs. And if you're not using them, they can collapse. And just like an old balloon in the back of the drawer that your kid left from a birthday party, if you go to use that balloon and blow air into it, there's resistance there. And that'll be the stinging. So the stinging just means you're reaching parts of your lungs you haven't used. If, however, you start to feel dizzy, then you want to discontinue the deep belly breath and just come back to a normal rhythm of your breathing. If you're not exactly sure how you're finding this deep belly breath, you can be on your back, on your bed top, doesn't matter where. I'm going to take the block, put it on my belly, resting out just in a comfortable pose. And as I take that deep inhale, the block lifts. Now I'm going to take my hands, bring my fingertips gently together, softly together at the rib cage. And as I inhale, those fingers part. And as I exhale deeply, the fingers come past one another and the block drops. It's a little hard to do and talk. And actually, I hope you're breathing along with me. The deep belly breath. I like to do it at the stoplight, at a red light. Here in Austin, there's more than enough red lights, more than ever before. So as I'm at a red light, I can actually see my seatbelt move. My lap strap expands, moves. My shoulder strap, it moves as my breath works up my lungs and then comes back down. Lots of different ways to do deep belly breathing. Lots of different ways to sprinkle yoga into your life. A question not on Sharon's list, but one that I hear all the time, concerns child's pose. It's usually a final pose. It's supposed to be a relaxing pose. And what it looks like for many people, the knees are together and you're sitting back, dropping the head and bringing the hands back towards the feet. Now you can see I can't even do it completely. I like to use what I call the belly well, and that's creating space for all of this to go. There's a law in physics that says two objects can't occupy the same space at the same time. So if I'm in the traditional mode of child's pose, I am not going to be able to fold because my thighs and my belly want to be in the same place. If you open your knees, however, and I create a belly well, I can soften through my knees and see how much farther my head can come down. My hands can relax. Now, I'm not going to kid you. Even that's not really comfortable. It's a lot of stress on my knees, on my thighs, and while I'm trying to relax, I really am not. I'm thinking more about the pose than the benefit of the pose. Remember, in every yoga practice, in every pose you do, why are you doing it? Ask yourself that. When something is not working for you, ask yourself, why am I doing this? And then find the solution. Move your body in tune with what you have that day and what the purpose of the pose, the benefit of the pose is all about. Child's pose is named for the garbanzo bean. It's Garbonasana, a little chickpea. So what that means is there's a curl of the spine is the benefit of the pose. It's the true benefit of the pose. And in order for me to do that, I can be seated. I'm just going to come off on a little angle. My feet come together. I still have my belly well, but there's no pressure on my knees here. I'm going to lift myself up out of my spine, rolling back, vertebra at a time, and dropping my head. Now I can bring my block in. Resting my head onto the block. If you don't have a block, no worries. Just make a little pyramid with your elbows and rest your forehead to your hands. The point is to get a roundness of the spine. That's what you want to be creating with child's pose, with Garbonasana. Any other questions? Not yet. Or, yeah, what do we got?
So, Diane asks, if she only has 20 minutes, can she do enough yoga poses to get some benefit?
Absolutely. By the way, that was Ron. Husband, 25 years, and producer of this event. So Diane, yes, 20 minutes, 20 seconds. Use what you have. Use the body you have and use the time that you have. So you start with deep belly breath. Start with centering. If all you have is 20 minutes of your day to dedicate to yoga, then know that you might have one hellacious day in front of you. Lots going on, lots of appointments and deadlines and things to do and places to be. So there's nothing better than having a few moments of silence, the deep belly breathing, followed perhaps by meditation. Meditation, the number one health path by Parade magazine. It seems celebrities have found it, so of course it's more popular than it's ever been in these 5,000 years it's been around. So what does meditation look like? It's a calming of the mind. It does not have to be in a dark room. It does not have to be quiet. It does not have to be quiet anywhere other than in your mind. So the mind is like a shark. Most sharks have to swim to breathe. If they stop, they can no longer function. Meditation is the calming of the mind, giving the mind something mindless so it can relax. For many of us, it's just the repeating of two words. You match whatever your thought may be to your inhale and your exhale, to the rhythm of your breath. So you can be just saying in your mind, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Of course, you could be counting. Some people find numbers easy to do. Forward, backward, the number can be your choice. You can start at 100 or 75, or the yoga joke is 1. So, counting forward or backward. For myself, what I do is I follow the So-Han meditation. So, it means, So-Han means that which I am. And it's named, or more appropriately, a character from Star Wars is named after the So-Han meditation. That's Han Solo. I am that I am. So-Han. And I used to be worried. It was like, oh, do I say so on the inhale, Han on the exhale? It doesn't really matter. What matters is you try to give your mind something mindless to repeat so it can relax. Now, thoughts are going to travel in and out. You acknowledge those thoughts and letting them go by allowing yourself to realize that anything you need to remember will come back when it's needed. Just believe that to be so. If you have a brilliant idea, it will be back. You won't lose it forever. Bringing yourself back to your meditation. So you have a few minutes of deep belly breath. You have a few minutes of meditation. You can get up and get on your way. Now, if you have a little more time, look at your body and see what your body needs. Where are your trigger points? Where do you have things a little sticky? And gently move into those things. Don't drop into a big dramatic yoga pose that requires a lot of warming up. Give yourself permission just to do something as simple as a twist. So, seated twist, nothing can be easier. I'm going to take my left hand to my right knee, right hand behind me, and exhale into the twist. Now here, I like to use an energetic swipe. So what that means for heavyweight yoga, it's just a way to move the flesh so that the inner body can really deepen the pose. So on the twist, I'm going to bring my right hand to my belly button. I'm twisting off to the right, coming into that gentle squeeze. My eyes are open wide. Looking back behind me, I can use a block. If you find yourself leaning back like this, you're missing the twist. You want this opportunity not only to twist the spine, but to keep it in alignment. So you can come back. I'm going to come on a little angle here. You can come up on your fingertips. You can come up onto your fist or up onto your block. But try to keep the spine nice and tall, even though it's in rotation. Now, anytime you're on a twist, as you come into the twist, exhale. As you hold the twist, however, keep your breath small. Small, gentle breathing. Keep your belly relaxed. It's being twisted. On the inhale, bring yourself back to center and be sure to do the other side. So twist, easy to integrate, lots of places, seated, on your back, standing. Great for the body, great for everything that's housed here in the torso. The other thing that many people find that you could add into a quick yoga routine is hamstring stretches. We're all trying to reestablish our flexibility. We want to reclaim being able to touch our toes or reach down onto the floor and pick something up with total ease. Hamstring stretches actually can be integrated so many different ways, but there's a formula, lucky for us. The first thing is a non-weight-bearing leg. So here, my leg totally supported by the floor. The other element, the other ingredient to a hamstring stretch, successful hamstring stretch, is to have a flexed foot. So here, we're pressing the heel away, the toes are coming up. The third element, a little harder, it's the flat back hinge. We're We're coming down from the hips. Now, I like to use a strap, and those of you who have had class with me know the strap is essential. And I love the 10-foot strap especially because while a strap can never be too long, it could be too short. So here I'm going to lasso, and I'm in Texas, so of course it's lasso. And just gently make that connect because I want the alignment. Every yoga pose has layers of benefits, and you don't want to miss any of them. This is what makes your yoga practice more efficient because you don't miss any of the time opportunity to weave in other benefits. So I like to think of preparing for a pose like packing for a trip. Yeah. You put in your swimsuit, hot tub. You put in your fancy dress, big dinner out. As you're packing for the trip, you're preparing for the trip, putting precious things into your suitcase. So don't miss this opportunity to prepare for your pose. So I'm getting nice and tall, hip to head. I'm lengthening my spine. I'm opening my heart center. This is not tug of war with my foot. I want just that gentle press so my heel stays flexed and my hands holding onto each end of the strap so my heart center is open. It's really good to approach hamstring stretches with an open heart. The flat back hinge, I'm coming down from the hip, and I'll just move it out so you can get a better angle on this. So we're lifting up, flexing the foot, flat back hinge. Now I have to watch my chin. My chin has to move with the spine, not staying focused out or dropped in, but staying about fist width away from the chest. The other problem that can happen with a flat back hinge is you roll into it. You drop the spine and move down, and there is no stretch. If that happens to you, come back to start and hinge. It may not be a big move. And if you're in a class and you're looking at somebody who's 20-something and has been practicing yoga and has this lithe, lean, little body, and she's hinging deeper than you are, let it go. Yoga's not a competition. The only thing you have to be concerned about is your body and your practice and where you were last week or last time you were on the mat and where you are today. So you're getting nice and tall, and it's the flat back hinge. Here you want to watch your shoulder alignment. Outside shoulder should come in. The shoulders should be even with each other so the back stays neutral. If I have a little cattywampus thing going on with my shoulders, that's going to be reflected into my spine, into my hips. It's the flat back hinge, flex foot, non-weight bearing leg, flat back hinge, breathing up, hamstring stretches. Now you can do that here on the floor. You can do it on your back. If you're bedbound watching this, one of my favorite hamstring stretches is on my back. And here, one of the reasons I love this so much is that your flat back is really non-negotiable because your back is on the floor or on the bed top. Lassoing. Let your knee come out to the side. Find that strap around the foot and breathe it up. It's a non-weight bearing leg because the strap is supporting the weight of the leg. And I'm letting the leg come out. I would never, never, never stand with my leg this straight. But it's not a bend. It's a soft lengthening through the back of the knee, grounding the right hip, flexing the foot, and coaxing the foot towards the head. Now see what's happening to my arms. My elbows are starting to work here, and I don't want that to happen. I want the weight of the arms to help be my counterweight. So I'm bringing the hands high on the strap and gently coaxing the foot into sweet discomfort. Yeah, sweet discomfort. Remember, never any pain in yoga, not in this or any yoga pose. So you're gently finding your hamstring stretch, flat back hinge, non-weight bearing leg, flexed foot, and no pain. So here, seated or on my back, I can find a hamstring stretch. And believe it or not, I can also find a hamstring stretch standing. So let's go ahead and get up off the floor. I'm going to come into table pose. If this is not doable for you, come up however you can. Letting me know how this works. I know lots of people with knee injuries have to move very carefully and be very cautious about putting weight onto their legs. Now, you can use a chair, and I'm just going to move my chair in and let your arms, no, that was not a bat. That was a butterfly, if you happen to see that coming through. We just planted a whole, we call it Butterfly Hill. It's really like 5 square feet, but of butterfly plants. Isn't that fabulous? So, good luck, omen. So, if you need to come up, use your chair, use your arms. There's a moment when I'm going to be on both knees, but still, most of my weight was on my arms as I gently roll up. Now, being mindful as I roll up, I can use my hands to walk up my thighs to help bring myself to standing. Rolling the head up, always last. Unless part of the pose is to lift with a flat back hinge, you want to roll the head up slowly. So here I am with my chair, remembering we were talking about stretching the hamstrings and trying to create a 20-minute, brief 20-minute program for you to do on your own. I'm going to stabilize myself, holding on to the chair, bringing the leg up, non-weight bearing leg, flexed foot, flat back hinge. Coming down, watching the shoulder alignment, feeling the stretch in the back of the leg. Breathing up, releasing down, coming to a place of stability. So for you, Diane, thinking about how you can create your own yoga practice, a 20-minute practice, think about the benefits that you want to enhance into your day and where your problem areas may need a little help, and being sure that you take care of that, whether it's your hamstring or just a general twist. Ron's giving me that signal like, oh, somebody else has got a question?
Abby, you already have 6 questions. 6.
Oh, my goodness, let me get busy.
All right, so let's get busy. The very first question is from Marie. She says, in cat-dog pose, which one of those does she breathe in during?
Oh, I love dog-cat pose. So again, if you're in table pose on your hands and knees, you're already cool. You have the physical position. But if you're not able to come to your knees, no dog-cat stretch can still be yours seated. So I'm just going to take advantage of this chair. The dog-cat stretch is the arch and sway. And a great way for me to remember it is the Halloween cat. So on the arch, and actually I'll go ahead for those of you who may not know what table looks like, it's here, and here's the arch. On the arch, I think Halloween cat, and as silly as it may sound, I go, ooh, ooh, I'm so scared. It's Halloween and I've been scared and my breath has left me. So, arch, cat pose, exhale. Inhale. The body comes heavy with breath. The body sinks while the head and hips lift. Exhale. Inhale. And if you can, Link the rhythm of your spine to your breath. Don't rush that pose. Let yourself arch and sway to the rhythm of your breath, and you'll find it more calming. Seated, you don't want to have your back to your chair. Let yourself have some room so you can arch and sway. You'll interlace the hands, palms are facing in. Exhale, stretch out. Inhale, track your hands with your gaze, creating the dog, arch, exhale. The palms come down to your lap, out and in. So you're getting that rhythm to your spine. Just real quickly, I'll rotate the chair so you can see it from the side. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Seated dog cat stretches, and you're like, oh, what do I need to know this for? I can come to my hands and knees. Well, maybe you're in the office and it's not such an agreeable place, or you're traveling, you're at the airport. You can do this seated so many different places, and your spine's going to be so happy.
Another question. This one's from Benny. And Benny says, which pose helps support the endocrine system? For cleansing, pain, nerves.
Yeah. The deep belly breath is miraculous, and I hate to come back to that. But it is the number one cure-all for many, many things. And I would have to look into that and get back to you on the next Abby Unplugged, which is going to be July 8th. So we're skipping the week of the July 4th, but we'll be back here in front of the camera. I'll be back here in front of the camera on the 8th, and I'll have the answer for you, Benny. Of course, you'll have it sooner because I've got your email, and I'll get it to you right away.
Let me give you another one. This one is from Rilla. Rilla says...
Rilla!
Rilla! You know Rilla, yeah?
Yes! Oh, I shouldn't be doing that because of my arms, but... Anyway, oh, thank you.
So she says, I love to garden, but my SI joint inflames from the bending over and standing up motion when she's weeding. So are there any yoga poses that she can use while she's weeding to help support her hip?
Well, okay, so this is from Rilla, and she wants to know about when she's weeding. What can she do? Is there yoga that she can do? And it's a combination of things. Now, I want you to think about how this slice is for you. The slice of our body. It may feel like it's your hip, but really, our legs attached to our torso, our hips and low back, they're all within inches of one another. So if one is being overstressed or overused, the other two are going to have to compensate, and they're all going to have to be worked on in order for you to have true comfort. So, weeding, gardening. I can't tell you how many times I get people coming back to yoga because it's gardening season, and they've just been so determined to weed their garden or get everything into the ground, and they overuse. So that's the first thing. Sprinkle your weeding into your day. Don't be weeding in one big patch of time that's going to cause you distress, because we're reaching down, pulling it out, picking it up, putting it where in your bucket. I have to tell you, Ron and I were at Home Depot, and I wanted a little red weed bucket, because my advice is have something low to the ground that you can put your weed into so you're not bobbing up and down. So you can just pick and put it into the weed bucket. Well, we couldn't find anything, and the guy at Home Depot who was helping us find buckets, he was like, well, what's wrong with this? It's plastic, Home Depot. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the logo's on. It wasn't a cute red bucket. And Ron's like, hey, She wants something cute. And the guy looked at me like I was crazy. Well, that's part of the deal. If you have something cute, something that makes you joyful when you see it, you're going to be more likely to come into the garden and weed or do your whatever it is you have in front of you. So, coming back to Sharon's underlying question about habits, make your habit attractive. Make whatever you're doing attractive to you, embracing you. So, yeah, I'm going to have to come back down onto the floor. Let me take a look coming down onto the floor with your chair. Weight on the forearms, one knee down, then the other. Your body's going to know which knee to come down first, and we're just going to come down onto our backs, because the best thing you can do is happy baby. So I'm coming down onto my back. The knees are coming out. My hands are coming up. Now, if you can't reach your feet or your big toes, that's okay. Grab wherever you can, whether it's your ankles or your shins or the back of your thighs. Flex the foot. Bring the feet up to the ceiling and draw the knees down. Now, think about this. Flip me over and see me in my garden weeding. It's a squat. And it's those little oblique stretches for the back of the legs, not weight bearing, that I'm working on here. So what you want to be able to do is prepare yourself for the weeding. Not necessarily practice for the weeding when you're weight bearing, but letting yourself see what you need. Remember, you can always weed just sitting down or kneeling down, depending on the shape of your knees. So yoga can be sprinkled everywhere, but don't overdo it wherever you are. So I hope that answers that question for you. I'm going to come back up to standing. My arms supporting a lot of my body weight. One knee comes up, then the other. My body knows which. Let your body know you're listening. Let your body know you are hearing it. Don't overthink it. Don't go, oh no, I can't go that. I have to go here. No, soften into it, whatever it is you want to be doing, and let your body dictate how to do it. Weeding, forward bend. Remember, give yourself a belly well, a place for the belly so you're not in conflict. And breathe up. Move slowly, move with intention, and don't overdo it.
So, you'll have to repeat this question, but Carol wants to know, can you share the most gentle way for an upward-facing boat?
Upward-facing boat.
We have about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Let me come back to that, because that's a thing on the floor, and I want to finish out. Sharon, who happens to love triangle pose, and she had a question about hand placement for triangle pose. So let me do that, and I'll come back down onto the floor. Triangle pose, we start with 5-pointed star. Outsides of the feet are parallel, arms are up. Don't be hopping. I love the transition, but be mindful and don't let your body weight be willy-nilly and loose. Press into the heel of what's going to be your front foot and just rotate that foot 90 degrees. So you can see I am very stable because my heel is still on the floor, 90 degrees. Same thing when I'm adjusting my back leg. I don't hop it. I press into the ball of the foot and kick my heel away, creating that back angle where the big toe is closer to my center line than the outside of my heel. Now, Baxter Bell, fabulous yoga teacher. Someday I hope to meet him. he gave me the word sachet. So you sachet your hips to one side, which is what makes this different from Warrior Two. The arms come out. The front knee is soft. It isn't bent into a lunge, but I'm weight bearing, so I want it soft. On the exhale, my hands are coming down, and lots of people teach it. I could have my hand on that chair or on a block, but those things aren't often handy. So I'm going to take the back of my hand and establish my counterpoint, a place of stability in the pose. As I press into the leg, I can lift the arms up. Now the palms are facing with the face. So that's what that direction means. See, if I have my arm rotated back behind me, it's not facing with my face. Use the back of the hand, lift the arm up, and create an open heart. Your gaze up to the ceiling, straight ahead, or down towards the floor. It doesn't matter which direction you're looking at. You just have to remember that direction. So when you go to the other side, you stretch your head and neck exactly the way you did in the beginning. Okay, I'm going to come down. I see the clock is ticking away. I'm going to come down and talk about upward facing boat. So boat at Kripalu is on your belly. It's one of the 3 belly down back bend poses, and maybe we'll cover that next time. A gentle way for up boat is to use your strap. So the strap comes behind both legs. I'm rocking back, finding my balance point on my hip, ground one foot, lift one leg. Don't go, oh, I'm going to do all this. Take your time, take your steps. I feel good here. I feel good straightened. I think I can lift both legs. I can straighten both legs. There's lots going on here. I like to think of using this strap as setting muscle memory. So what I'm going to do is use my strap, the tension of the strap, to help me set the muscle memory so my muscles know where I'm going. Too much, here, here. It's all good. Letting yourself use the strap at first to set your muscle memory, using that tension, and then releasing the dependency on the strap until the muscles are strong enough for you to hold your upward-facing boat on your own. The strap. Now remember, you don't have to have a professional strap. You could have 2 ties together. You could have a long towel here. Anything can help you hold your alignment with the strap. Thanks, Carol.
So one last question here from Nancy in Maryland. She says, what are some good poses for back pain?
Back. It's, yeah, so Nancy in Maryland wants to know about back pain. And we've already taken a look at that. If you've ever bought a book on back relief or read an article on or done PT, you've done the dog-cat stretches, the arch and sway. And we've already gone through doing it on the floor, but doing it on the chair. And again, sprinkling it into your day. Not just thinking, oh, I'm going to do this once a week or even once every 24 hours, but that I'm going to do it in the morning gently when I wake up, and then maybe be able to be a little more vigorous about it later in the day when the body is more warm, and then doing it again at night before you go to sleep. That dog-cat stretch. It's really popular, and for good reason. So it looks like we're getting ready to call the end to the time. You got anything else for me, Ron, that I...
Just there was a little discussion about how to get where to get a strap, and there were some suggestions. And I
Ah.
talked about the size.
I,
To repeat the question.
yeah, so people wondering where to get the straps, huggermugger.com is where all this equipment came from. The 10-foot strap, I use the cinch. I used to use the D-ring, the metal ring, and then I hit myself in the face with that sucker. And I thought, God, I could have chipped a tooth. And none of these front four are real, so that would have been expensive. So I went, not ordering them anymore. Use the cinch. It's a little harder when you have to thread through to try to figure out the dynamics of how this actually cinches. But once you've got it figured out, let me know.
I also told you that you sell this equipment at your retreat
I do.
coming up in September.
Ah, yes, I do have a women's retreat coming up at Camp Allen. Camp Allen outside of Houston, Houston, Texas, close to the airport. And as with everything that is on my shop today, other than teacher training, there's a 25% discount on everything in my shop, including the women's retreat, September 11th through the 13th. The discount code is LIVE, L-I-V-E, and it'll be going on for the next 2 weeks. It's my way of celebrating this event and expressing my appreciation to all of you for tuning in and being here with me and with Ron and with my most favorite DVD director who is on the floor. Richard, say something. They can't see you. He has a British accent. Say, I know a lady who teaches fat people yoga.
No one can hear me.
Ah! No, he says no one can hear him. Anyway, he's the first person to ever get me in front of the camera, and he'll probably be the last. But thank you so much for hanging in there. I'm sorry we got a late start. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you all again July 8th. It's the second Wednesday instead of the first. All the first Wednesdays, I think, are going to be clear of holidays. I appreciate you so much. Jai Bhagwan means I honor the light within you. Has the same meaning as Namaste. It's just not as widely used or recognized. It comes from a different region of India. And thank you. Thank you so very much for being here. Look down at the tops of your own fingertips. Honor the light within yourself. Good work. Thank you for being here. Yeah, you deserve it all. I honor the light within you. Jai Bhagwan class. Jai Bhagwan each one. Thank you. I'm Abby.